Well, if you feel like your bills are multiplying, you're not alone. Up to 7.5 million Australians are struggling to pay their monthly accounts. To make matters worse, recent ATO figures have suggested we're being overcharged more than $400 million a year.
Wow, that's a staggering amount. But now, money-saving ninja Joel Gibson is here to help you conquer your credit cards and ditch your debt. With a new money-saving guide, he's counting down the tricks you need to win the war on household bills.
Hi, Joel. He's the author of Kill Bills. I love it. Kill Bills. He joins us live. You say there are so many ways to save. It's overwhelming.
That is exactly how most people feel, you know, and that's why I spent the last year writing this book, is to make it as easy and as painless as possible to get the best possible result.
For 30 minutes.
Well, sometimes you don't even need to call them, Kylie. You know, and we outline in the book how you can, if you want to switch without having to pick up the phone, get a better deal without having to pick up the phone. You can do it in under 5 minutes in some cases, in the case of some bills, you know. I think the key thing is people feel powerless about this stuff, and this book is about giving them the power to deal with those situations, because you actually have extraordinary power as a consumer as long as you know which websites to look at, who to speak to, what to say when you speak to them. We've got scripts in the book. So it's about basically taking all that inside info and all those little tricks and loopholes that we've come across in 8 years of saving people money where I work at One Big Switch, putting it all down in the simplest possible step-by-step way, and giving people that power so they can become a money-saving kung fu master themselves. Right. And really just, you know, show those bills who's boss. You know,
I'm starting to see a theme here, because the book's called Kill Bills. Your 9 tricks of saving also have some pretty cool names like the De Niro method. So there's a movie theme here. So what's the De Niro method? What happens there?
So the single most important insider trick that I've identified that you need to master if you want to save on your bills, I've named it after Robert De Niro, because there's this great film, 1995, called Heat, one of my favourite movies. De Niro plays Neil McCauley. He's a professional thief. He never gets caught. Al Pacino's chasing him. And his secret to success is, he says, you've got to never get attached to anything you're not willing to walk out on in 30 seconds if you feel the heat around the corner. That's where the movie gets its name. Right. So De Niro is always prepared to walk away. He's ruthlessly disloyal, unsentimental. If you can take the De Niro attitude to your household bills, that is the single most important thing you need to master. The reason is, if you're willing to move, if you're willing to walk away, that puts you into a completely different category of customer to a business, called the price chasers. And they know if you're a price chaser, as opposed to what they call a sleeping beauty, somebody who never shops around. If you're a price chaser, they need to get the best deal out of the bottom drawer if they're going to win you over or keep you.
So that's with the theory that they want your business.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Let's move on. Red Dog, how does that work?
So the Red Dog, I put this in the book for 2 reasons. First of all, because I got to a point where I realised I was just saying to people, you have to be disloyal all the time, and there are rare occasions where it pays to be loyal. So this trick was an acknowledgement that there are rare occasions where it pays to be loyal. It was also an excuse to put a picture of my dog in the book, by the way. But the Red Dog is about being loyal on those occasions when your provider is loyal to you first. So, great example, I've been with my health insurer for over 5 years. I now get bigger claim limits as a result of staying longer. I regularly look around to see what else is out there.
Did you ask for that, or did they just give it to you?
Over time, if you stay there for 5 years, they give it to you automatically, right? And some of them do that. And in that case, I'm willing to stay with them. Occasionally I look what else is out there, but that deal is getting harder and harder to beat because they're rewarding me for loyalty. Most businesses don't reward you for loyalty.
The toughest bill for most households in Australia is electricity. We have some of the highest electricity prices in the world, so how can we save on electricity?
Electricity, the golden rule for electricity is understanding that 15% of people have been paying top dollar so that 85% of people can get discounts. So the first thing you need to do in electricity is be one of the 85% and not the 15%. And that means you've got to be prepared to switch and shop around, because if you never shop around, you never switch, you end up on the most expensive plan, you get defaulted to that plan, and you can pay, as you said, some of the most expensive power prices in the world if you end up on those really expensive plans. So the key is, and we were just talking about this off air, there is a website in every state where you can switch electricity. In a couple of minutes you can get your last bill, put your numbers in. It'll rank the orders for you from cheapest to most expensive. There's groups like One Big Switch where I work, and we negotiate off-market special deals. If If you go to those two places and get those two deals in your hand, then you are extraordinarily powerful as a consumer when you ring up your provider and say, can you beat it? Or just switch. If you don't want to ring them, just switch.
Just switch. Credit cards.
Credit cards. Credit cards are an interesting one. I think the most important thing about credit cards is be realistic. You know, I don't drive a Porsche SUV because I can't afford it. I don't want to pay the maintenance bill. I don't want to pay the petrol bill. And so if you're not a Porsche SUV kind of frequent flyer or somebody who pays off their credit card every month, don't get the Porsche SUV of credit cards. Get the low rate card or the balance transfer card and pay down your balance. You know, I recommend to people in the book, and I did this myself last year. Average credit card debt's about $3,500, 20%. That's $700 of interest in a year. That's a hidden household bill. If people can pay that down, that's $700 saved in a year. So get a balance transfer card, pay it off over 24 months. Get the new card, freeze it in ice in the freezer so you don't use it, like Han Solo in The Empire Strikes Back. And if you can, pay down that debt, get back to zero. You're either a revolver or a transactor in the credit card industry.
Right. Now, you say that we can save $1,000 in an afternoon. Big promise. How can we do that?
One lucky customer did, Leanne Ward. Yeah.
There is an amazing story in the front of the book, actually, and there's a woman called Leanne. She lives in Western Sydney. She's probably watching now. She saved $3,749 in a couple of hours one afternoon, went on the equivalent of a money-saving lucky streak. And she is the gold standard of what is possible. She's not an expert in this stuff. She just thought, I'll give it a crack. She had one win. She got some confidence. She attacked another bill, and before she knew it, she'd completely cleaned out her household budget.
So that'd be exciting, wouldn't it? To start.
This is the thing. People feel powerless, but once you start having a few wins, it is actually exciting to start.
Where else can I save money? And what about posting online? Just quickly, we're nearly out of time. You say that we can utilise social media.
Oh, the internet is the greatest invention in the history of bill killing. Social media is a part of that. You know, one example, people used to stand outside a business with a sandwich board if they had a complaint against the business. Now you can just post a message on their social media page and you'll often get a result really quickly because they watch those very quickly, any business worth their salt. The other thing I did in the book is I just asked around, I put up on my own Facebook page, asked people what their interest rate was on their mortgage at the moment, if they'd recently got a better deal. Within 24 hours, I had 12 different responses telling me this lender's offering X, Y, Z behind the scenes. That lender's just downgraded me to a lower rate just because I asked. So many good leads there, just from tapping the hive mind of social media.
Yeah, great advice.
You can ring them up and go, Joe Blogg said he got it for 6.7.
Exactly right.
Okay, good
that's
stuff.
leverage. That's leverage. Yeah.
Good stuff.
That's great. You can find out more in Joel Gibson's new book. It's called Kill Bills with the bright yellow cover. You won't miss it. Good stuff. Yeah.